Fee here from feeoshea.com, vegan author, coach and conscious consumer. And today we're looking at the heading of my partner is a full-on meat eater and I want to go veg. What do I do? This is something that I do actually hear often. I'm part of SAFE, which is an animal welfare organisation here in New Zealand. It stands for Save Animals from Exploitation. And so I am out and about on stalls and things like that and talking to lots of different people about going veg, about animal welfare, etc. And this is something that I do hear a lot of women especially, although some men too, I must admit, some men do, but mainly it comes from women, that they would definitely go vegetarian or vegan, and they would really like to, but they have a meat eater in the family, usually their partner, and they just don't have the time to do the two meals. They just don't want to get their head around that. And quite honestly, I do actually understand. It is something, and especially in the society that we live in, where everybody is really busy, and quite often, mum is out at work as well, and then to come home and have to prepare different meals is not ideal. I mean, at the end of the day, there's lots of different excuses, and possibly if you are vegan, you have heard them all. Things like animals are meant to be eaten. That's a good one. Meat for protein. That's a beauty, and that actually is one that has really gone into the psyche of most people, it just shows how fabulously brilliant the industry was at marketing that one. Another classic is what would happen to all animals if everybody went vegan overnight. There'd be billions of animals. It's like, no one's going to do that. I mean, it's just not a happening thing. It's going to be a very slow process if everybody does go plant-based. Cavemen ate meat. Well, hey, listen, show me your bow and arrow and off you go, sweetheart. But the one about the full-on meat eater in the family, that is one that actually does resonate with me, and I do understand. And so I've come up with some ideas that maybe you can put into practice if you are the person who is wanting to go veg, or maybe you might know someone who is in that position. So let's assume that it is a woman who is wanting to go veg, that she is the cook of the family, and that her partner or husband is not having a bar of it. The biggest thing is that don't try and convince him on your own. Just don't even go there. The more you start talking about animal rights, and the more you start bringing all of this sort of talk into the family, the more he is actually going to probably dig his toes in and not be interested. Now, unfortunately, a lot of men, mainly men, the videos on animal welfare, like factory farming and how they're killed and all of that sort of thing, videos like Earthlings and that don't kind of resonate so much with the guys for some reason or other. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of guys that it does work, but I think it's the hunter instinct, the DNA hunter thing that guys possess, that they're kind of like they can't seem to compute between the animals in the factories and what they're eating as the meat. For some reason or other, it doesn't make sense. However, this very first suggestion I'm going to give you does seem to work, because it comes at it from a different angle. And that is the documentary Forks Over Knives. I'm giving it a plug. I don't make any money from that, so, that's cool. But it is such a good documentary. It is relevant today as much, if not more, than when it was made back in 2011. It is a super documentary, and it focuses on the science and on the health. And so it gets to a person on a personal level. We've all probably know someone who has gone, if not ourselves, have gone down the cancer road. So we know that these sorts of things are out there. People who've had heart attacks, people who've, have some sort of heart disease, people with diabetes, people with, as I said, cancer. These are the things that we don't want for ourselves. And so consequently, and especially guys, and they don't want to go to a doctor, so they will actually look at it from the point of view of healthy eating, if it is presented to them in a scientific, logical, factual type of way. So this is a movie. It doesn't cost a lot of money. You can get it through Amazon, either live stream or the actual DVD. Forks Over Knives. It is brilliant. When you watch it together. So that's the key to it, is sit down and watch the movie together. And hopefully from that you will then create a dialogue where, it will get ideas flowing and you will be able to talk together and, work out together. If you can then make the suggestion that, okay, let's see if I can make some of these yummy plant-based meals, and even if we just do it a couple of days a week, maybe that will work, and see if we can get into it slowly. So kind of like be a couple when you make these decisions, and that one I know has been successful. All right. Other ways are setting aside your part of the dinner or part of the meal and adding the meat. If you're going to do that, I would suggest that you have single serve meat. So you use like a piece of steak or a piece of chicken, so something that is a single serve, so that it is quite easy just to sort of like cook that and put it onto the plate, as opposed to creating a meal which has got the meat supposedly, or meat all within it. You then have to kind of separate the bowls out, excuse me, separate them out, and you've got to then sort of put your protein in one and his protein in the other, and so that is that's what makes it a bit harder. So look at single serve pieces of meat, and then the rest of it is all vegetables and plant-based. There's no reason why he can't be eating a little bit of the quinoa as well, as long as you, or a little bit of the plant protein that you've got for yourself, beans, lentils, whatever it is, and he can have that, but he can still have his piece of meat. Another good one is having food in separate bowls. And yes, I know that means, more bowls and more dishes, but it's actually quite a cool way of doing it. And so you have, a bowl with the greens in, and a bowl with, say, like roasted veggies in, and say like a bowl with cheese in, dairy cheese in, and a bowl with vegan cheese in it. You can have quinoa or beans or lentils, as your main protein, and then you've got a bowl of his meat. Okay, and everybody can mix and match and make up their own plate of food. It's quite a good one when you have a family. It's a good way of doing it. So that's another idea. You can use foam meat, but honestly, don't use it very often, because at the end of the day, it is still a processed meat or processed food. It's perhaps a little bit better than a meat processed dish, but it's still processed. It still has the additives in it. So they have their place, and they are good if you're kind of like making the transition so that you're replacing a piece of meat with a imitation meat. But just don't have it too often. Make your own. There's things like nut mince. That's sort of something that you can use in place of, say, a spaghetti bolognese or mince pie or something like that. You can actually use a nut mince. Now, you can get it processed or you know, you can buy it in a can and use it that way, or you can actually make your own so that you know that there are no additives in it. That's just another way. Just take care of that faux meat though, just or the processed stuff. Introduce it slowly. That's another thing to do. So just you know, have it. Even if you used to start with one night a week, I am actually going to have a vegetarian night. You know, every other night of the week we have it the way you want it. So one night a week we're going to have it the way I want it. And you know, see if you can get some really yummy recipes. And yeah, the other thing is that you can tell him that he has to cook his own meat. So so you cook your dinner, and if he wants meat, he's got to cook it. Especially if it is on the nights that you are doing the vegetarian night or the vegan night. Another thing, tell him to go buy his own meat, that you're not going to buy it because you don't think that it's healthy. And that if he really is adamant, then he can go buy grass-fed organic meat, so that at least, you know, it's kind of healthy. It's not, but it's probably better than the definitely better than the factory farmed animals. Because I think what people don't realize is that the factory farmed animal, or any animal that goes off to the slaughterhouse, the minute they get on the you know, they get into the slaughterhouse grounds, they can smell death anyway. They find it's not easy getting them off the trucks because they're backing themselves up. They don't want to go in there. They know that so the fear that is coursing through their veins is just unbelievable. They are strengthening up their muscles. They're you know, they're really sort of like digging their toes in, and this. So what's happening to all of those muscles? It's the adrenaline is running through them. That is hormonal. So you know, that's what people eat. So when you go buy stuff from a supermarket, that's the meat you're eating is fear, and coursing through with the adrenaline. So yeah, that's not a nice thing. That was just a little aside that I thought I'd just throw in there. You don't have to use that one, please. So he might find that grass-fed and organic meat is actually just a wee bit too expensive. So because it is expensive, and so that might just put him off a little bit. So if your partner does, you know, hopefully these little tips, you will get them to slowly come across to a vegetarian or vegan way of eating. And when I say vegetarian, I'm talking about plant-based. I'm not talking about, I'm talking pure vegetarian. And that is not associated with animal at all. So you will, if you do it in slow steps, you will get them you will get your partner to finally come on board. As I said, that particular movie, Forks Over Knives, is a good one, and it's a good way of starting, is actually honing in on the health of yourself and your partner and wanting to improve your health, and you can do that by what you put into your body. If you go out, so if you do actually get him on board and he is you know, eating the plant-based food that you're eating, and you go out and he decides he's going to have a steak, don't disrespect him on that one. You know, just respect his decision and his choices, and because sooner or later he's actually going to not order that meat because the taste buds, it won't be as nice as what he thought. So yeah, it's these are, and even right at the very beginning, if you do have a meter, just say, look, you know, I respect your choice of eating meat. I'm not trying to convert you, but you have to now respect my choice, which is I want to eat plant-based. So yeah, if you want to cook your own food, that's fine, and I will cook mine. You know your partner. You will know how far you can actually push the boundaries on it, how adamant you can be about getting him to cook his meat. But yeah, just understand that people will change when they're ready to change. But the health trip is the one that seems to be the one that works the best. So hopefully these are some tips that you can pass on to someone else who is in this position. And yes, I really hope that it all works for you. So for now, I'm signing off. Have great food, show respect for all animals, and enjoy life. And we will see you in the next one. Subscribe if you want to down there, but that's cool.